This video is all about styling vintage for a modern wardrobe. I use this channel to explore weekly outfit planning and how I can gain benefits from that, further dive into knowing my personal style, and also just have my love for fashion be functional in my life and not necessarily a time waster or something that is confusing to me. Each week I pick a theme, and this week I wanted to focus on vintage. I like to think I have a fairly modern aesthetic. I prefer new things, bolder shapes, sharper lines. I don't like anything too fitted, which a lot of vintage can be. If anything, I lean towards blazers, big shoulder pads, things from the 80s and 90s. I really love a good blazer, whether it be men's or women's from those eras. I love taking advice from all the online stylists out there, from content here on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. I definitely subscribe to having 3 style words. I don't use it all the time, but I like having them in my mind. My style words are exaggerated, modern, and effortless. I can do a specific dedicated video if you would like that on how I came to find those style words. So if you'd like that, let me know in the comments below. But I think you'll see these style words illustrated in the looks that I'm going to show you. I work 3 days of the week at home and 3 days of the week I go out to a job, and then I take Sundays off. I wanted to focus this video on just 3 really great looks that really utilize vintage clothing. Look number 1 is denim on denim. I think we all know and love a Canadian tuxedo. I am pairing a modern pair of jeans, so something new, a slight barrel leg shape, with a vintage Levi's denim jacket. I picked this up at a store in Nottingham. I used to live up there. It's a store that really has proper, true 70s, 80s, real vintage pieces. It's not exactly a store where I thought I would find something, because everything does tend to look quite old and aged, which I appreciate, but it's not necessarily my own aesthetic. But on browsing, I found this jacket. I love the dark, sort of real indigo wash. That's what made this jacket feel more modern to me. I also like that they probably took away a collar that was damaged, so the collar's been removed and it's got a raw edge, which also gives it a certain type of freshness. I love that they decided to update that in this way. It really speaks to what I do with upcycled clothing. So I knew when I found this piece, it was perfect for me. I'm layering in a second vintage piece, and this is a silver pair of earrings. I found this at the charity shop on my high street. Such a great little bargain find for real silver and such a cool shape. I think there's a lot to be said for vintage earrings. We're seeing a lot of replicas on the high street these days. You can absolutely source this secondhand. I think it's also more chic to wear an original version of the earring than to buy something that's cheaper or more mass produced. Bringing in a third vintage piece with a black double-breasted blazer. This is a 90s vintage Hugo Boss men's blazer, bringing in an added element of modernity to the look with my favorite triangle scarf. I love the high contrast of the black and the white, and I've just been wearing this so much throughout this winter season. It really lifts any winter look. While this is a vintage blazer, I think the sharp shoulder is modernizing a somewhat classic look. Denim on denim feels quite classic to me. And then I'm just popping on a modern style boot, kind of an elongated square toe. These are not vintage, but I did happen to pick them up secondhand at a charity shop. They're a newer boot, but I got them at a great price and thought they were such a great find. The second look features another vintage blazer. This one is leather. I do not like leather that looks too worn or too specifically vintage, but I love the clean cut of this one. To modernize this vintage piece, I'm wearing it again with another barrel leg pair of jeans. I think you're seeing a theme here. The shape of the jeans is instantly making a vintage piece feel fresh. The rest of the look then can just be sort of thrown together. I think the blazer and the leather fabrication is a statement, mixed with the exaggerated shape of the horseshoe jean. I think that's enough. Finishing this one off with a vintage pair of boots. I found these in a charity shop once again. Unfortunately, they are broken, so I have ordered shoe glue, and so that should arrive shortly, and I'm just going to try and glue the sole myself. I'm hoping that I will get more wear out of them, so fingers crossed it works. I'm quite enjoying the matching brown of the leather blazer and the vintage leather boot. I really love the simplicity of this, but at the same time I do still think it feels really modern. The third look for the week is utilizing one of my reworked blazers. The original blazer here was a 90s men's peak lapel double-breasted blazer. I've reworked it into a style that I call the Miles blazer. I do have some of these available on my website. It is the favorite piece that I do currently. I'm really in love love with this. It's got a handy ring on the front and you can cinch it in and tie it to the side. It also has a great cutout at the back, so it's got an unexpected shape which brings a sense of modernity to the piece itself. In styling this blazer, I wanted to wear a skirt, bring in some variation. I like to sometimes go super impactful with the look, so a strong shoulder, a gathered skirt, just going all in. Quite a chunky boot here as well. I love this brown leather boot. I'm loving all these dark neutrals, the charcoal gray of the wool skirt, the brown leather boot mixed with the navy pinstripe blazer. I think it all works together to create a minimal vibe, but there's nice texture and nice detail in there. It feels interesting. For added warmth and to kind of tone down the look, because the blazer can be quite a statement, I'm wearing a knitted hood. It's just kind of a bib style that I've placed underneath the blazer. I like that it just brings an element of casualness to the outfit. What I didn't film here is the addition of a vintage brooch. I have this amazing little pin that I'm wearing here. It's very Jill Sander-esque. I'm a big fan of that brand. So when I found this at a vintage market, the vintage car boot sale, something like that, at King's Cross in London. Just looking through a tray of old brooches, and I love the simplicity of it. As much as it's vintage, it felt quite modern in shape, and I love pieces that are personal that no one else would have. You can get newer brooches in high street stores, you can find them online, replicas of designer brooches, you can find them in fast fashion. Anyway, there's a lot of them out there, but I think it's so great to kind of wait and just happen upon something, find something that's vintage, that reads modern, that fits in with your personal style, that has a story behind it. I'd love to know if you guys use vintage pieces, if you hunt for them, and if you use them in your wardrobes, and how do you style them? There's so much great stuff out there that we can access, and I think it encourages us to be a little bit creative and venture into new territories with how we pair things together. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed my vintage looks. I can't wait to chat with you in the comments below, and I'll see you for another video soon.